Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller podcast. Now everyone's thinking, George is sounding a bit different this week because it isn't George, it's RGT and joined by the legend. He's Seb. How you going, Seb?
Finally, Triple S has come back to the UCP podcast. The great one, the undisputed, the bringer of truths has graced your presence once again. RGT, is great to be on the show. It is. Thank you for having me back.
No problem at all. It's great to have you back, mate. This week's show, we're going to say, is 2023 one of the best years for gaming so far? Question mark. Now, we're going on what's been released, what we've been playing, and also what's coming up this year, because so far it's been an absolute banger of a year for games. And it said, hey, I mean, I'm really struggling to keep up with these releases, and I know you are as well.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. I think you're struggling a little more than I am because you've been hooked, absolutely hooked like a fish in the middle of the sea on one particular game, right?
Yeah, and I think everyone knows what that is. It's like Harvestella all over again, isn't it?
Yeah, man. You're going to have to let what is the game you're hooked on? I believe what was it? It was Atomic Heart. Is that the name of it?
No, unfortunately, that's just a little sort of unknown game that Nintendo released a little while ago.
Nintendo? Was it a Kirby game? Because they like to drop those every 3 months.
No, I can never remember the name of it. I think it's Zelda. I think it was. Yeah.
Zelda?
Yeah.
Zelda? Yeah. The crazy thing is, I think Zelda's the female character, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, that's it.
So why is she the main star of this game if they named it after her?
Oh no, everyone gets confused with that because everyone thinks that's the main character, but no, Link is the main character, and it's. I think I'm well over 100 hours into that game now.
Are you loving it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be honest though, I'm ready for Endgame now. I'm ready to finish. Yeah.
Well, so what was like the switch that made you say like, man, I think I've had my feel and I'm ready to see the ending?
I think it's because I'm getting down to the last few missions. I think I've got the mission I'm on now, which I've got to finish, and then I'm sort of at the end boss. But I think it's more that these last few missions are long. They're a few hours each, and as my time's been limited, it's so hard to jump in and out. I need something more of a game where I can jump in and out. So I've been chipping away at this mission for quite a few weeks now. So I'm ready to get it finished, get it done, and move on now and get some games played. The time's been very limited at the moment, so it's really hard to jump in and jump out of the game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the end. And,
I know your time's pretty limited because, like, I have it on good authority that the Furcade Corporation has been trying to recruit you, trying to reach out to you, and schedule some sit-down meetings about you joining the Furcade Corporation, and they just can't seem to get a hold of you, RGT.
Yeah, well, I think I've been so busy, and while George is away, the cat's play, as they say, so the Furcade have bypassed George. So if anyone's wondering where George is, he's embroiled in a very deep court case with the Furcade Corporation at the minute for breach of contract. So he's going to be missing for a couple of weeks until his lawyers tidy that up. But we'll steady the ship, won't we, Seb, and keep it going.
Yeah,
keep
for sure.
UCP ticking over.
For sure. And, the Furcade Corporation is ticking better than ever because we just released our tentpole game, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, on PC. Phenomenal game, by the way. A phenomenal game, good combat, good scenery, good story, and of course those gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous 4K graphics. And
have you tried it yet on PC port?
I tried it on I haven't tried it on my computer per se, but I've tried it on Steam Deck. It looks really good on Steam Deck. Absolutely verified and everything.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. I love that game. Absolutely brilliant.
For real, for real. But RGT,
Hmm.
before I gush more about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, what is our topic of the show today?
Well, our topic of the show is 2023 the best year of gaming so far? Um, the list of games that have come out. I mean, I'm nowhere near playing any of them so far, and I know you've dabbled with most of them. But yeah, it has been a big year. When you think we're only halfway through the year, and we've had Final Fantasy 16, we've had Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Star Wars, Hogwarts, Street Fighter 6, Hi-Fi Rush, Resident Evil 4. The list goes on and on and on. So yeah, I think the topic today is this the best year so far? And I tell you what, it's got to be up there. It's got to be up there, and especially with when you consider what is coming out later on in the year. It is a big year.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money there. And before people yell out into the void or yell at us while they're driving to work, commuting to work, and such like that, like saying, 1998 was the best year, or maybe like 2007 was the best year, or even 2017. Don't worry, everyone. We will go through the lineup and sort of give you the highlights of each one of those years and tell you, kind of give the case on why, especially me, my opinion is like, 2023 blows those years out of the water. And we're gonna go through all that. But first, I wanna ask you, RGT, like,
Mm-hmm.
is there any game in your backlog right now, especially from 2023, that you've been missing out on since basically you've been locked in Hyrule for about the last 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, I've got well, I installed this week Final Fantasy 16. I played the demo of that.
Okay.
So I've got that installed, ready to run, which is going to be my next game soon as Zelda's done. So I'm looking forward to getting into that. But there's games on the list that have come out this year I've jumped into. Some I didn't feel so much. Star Wars, struggled to get into that. I mean, I think it'll be a game I'll go back to, but I was quite disappointed with that.
Huh.
It didn't quite grab me as much. But obviously, Hogwarts I played this year. Um, but there's a lot. I mean, the backlog, when you actually look back at the games that have come out this year, is a big backlog to try and catch up with. And I think this game's, you're just going to, work my way through and jump into. But yes, we've been spoiled for choice this year. Spoiled for choice.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting because I loved Jedi Survivor, and it seems like you love Tears of the Kingdom, and it's almost like flip flop to where I don't like Tears of the Kingdom at all,
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah.
and you're very much on that same kind of opinion on Survivor, and it's just weird because you'd think like there would be some singularity, like maybe like some overlap there, but what is like pulling you away from Survivor? May I ask?
Um, I think I thought Survivor would be right on my street. I was excited for it. I couldn't wait to play it. I think the issues with it was, I think the first game was a surprise, and I think that was the appeal of the game. No, after the two Battlefronts, I don't think anyone expected that game to be as good as it was or had laid out as it was. So I think that was the appeal. They've done a bit of rinse repeat, which is not a bad thing. The first game was so good, but it just didn't. A few of the mechanics felt a bit bolted on. The story didn't grab me, and I think I put about 15 hours in, and I just faded away from the game. But I think also, like you say, with our topic today, because of how many games there's been out this year, you're a bit spoiled for choice. So you have that option to then jump onto something else, which isn't always good because, 9 times out of 10, you need to see the game through. But yeah, so I was sort of, Zelda had came out and I ended up jumping onto that. And yeah, I just didn't go back. I mean, I don't even know. I know George was on the last level of Jedi Survivor. I don't even know if if he finished it himself, but I know he was struggling with the story. But then that you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, everything you just said, like word for word, I can apply that same thing to Tears of the Kingdom for me.
Mm,
Is one of those to where I'm like, I get it. It's not the same kind of powers, like it's not like you're freezing. It's not like you're doing the momentum power. It's not like you're doing the two useless bombs that they had, because both bombs did the same thing. They were just shaped differently. So
Yeah.
I get it. There are different powers in Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild, but to me, it still felt rinse and repeat. Just okay, I can go into the sky now, and I can become a miner down below. I'm like, it still felt rinse and repeat for me. Like it was one of those things to where I'm like, I looked at Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and because it's a cinematic story centric game in the way, I looked at that plus the stances that they had, and I'm like, oh, okay, you are giving me a lot of the same, but you're giving me enough to where like it feels fresh and different for me. Whereas like on Zelda, like again, I think I said this like a little bit earlier, but like I'm such a story guy, like in Zelda, whereas the story is better in Tears of the Kingdom than Breath of the Wild, because like let's be honest, they actually tried. I don't think Breath of the Wild actually tried with their story, if I'm being honest. Like, but it is better, but it still doesn't feel like to me, it doesn't feel like a AAA story. Like this, it almost feels like an indie story, but like everyone's kind of giving it a little bit. That Zelda name gives it a little bit of push versus like if this was applied to an indie game, I don't think it would have got that same gravitas. I don't think it would have got that same kind of like, like recognition. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. I think as well, you're right with the story. This, I do enjoy the story on Tears of the Kingdom, but I also think, like you say, when you actually break the game down, once you do your sages on the story, there isn't a lot of story. The main part of that game is getting to the shrines, getting your stamina up, getting your hearts up. But for some reason, it just clicks with me.
Yeah.
I like that, where you're just out there, you do it in your own way, you do it in your own time, and go where you want on the map and learn as you go. And I think, I really enjoy that. I think when it comes to Survivor, I don't know, it felt like they'd accidentally hit on the game the first time round and then just thought, well, we'll bolt a couple of bits on and away you go. I didn't quite feel the sort of the hub world there and the garden and that sort of thing. I don't know, it just didn't quite feel right. But I've said this about games before. I've gone back to them a couple of years later and then absolutely loved them. So sometimes a game has to be at the right time to play it. Maybe it was just the wrong time for me. I don't know.
Maybe this is the Uncharted 2 out of the whole collection of Jedi Survivor, because I think Uncharted 2 is probably my weakest Uncharted.
Really?
Yeah, I love 3. I love 1, 3, and 4 a lot. And then 2, while I like it, I feel like it's the weakest of the bunch.
Wow, really?
The supernatural boss at the end felt very random.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It does feel random. I think Uncharted 2's got the best intro to any of the games.
I give you that one. I can give you that.
I like the start of the game. That's brilliant. Did you play Golden Abyss?
Yeah, I played Golden Abyss.
Yeah,
Lost Legacy is still high up there for me as well.
Yeah, Lost Legacy is brilliant. When you think it is technically just a spin-off, shorter game, still very good. Yeah, still very good. But it's it comes down with, like most games, it comes down to personal preference, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Some games hit with people differently because of where you are and what you're playing at the time, and where your mind's at. And sometimes games click with you in certain ways because of memories, really. So we all think that's a good thing about gaming. We all think of games in different ways.
Yeah, and speaking of thinking of games in different ways, I'm going to read out a game list, just a little snippet for our topic of the show, and you let me know. You let me know out of all the games, based on what you played, what you feel. Give this year a letter grade for you, like A, B, C.
Okay.
In the UK, is that how grade system works over there?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
just making sure.
Yeah.
Just making sure. The toilet flush is different over there. I got to make sure everything is quid pro quo. Like,
yeah, definitely does. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, give us a list. Let's have a look.
Okay. So here are the top games for this particular year. I'm not going to say a year name. I'm just going to list out some actual titles for it. All right. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Half-Life, Crash Bandicoot Warped, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, Fallout 2, Banjo-Kazooie, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Baldur's Gate, Spyro the Dragon, and Mario Party, and of course, one of my favorites, WWF Warzone. All right. So I've listed out all the. Oh, and I can't forget the king. Well, two of them, Pokemon Yellow and Gex, the gecko.
Who's coming back as well?
He's coming back. That's why I
He's
had to bring
coming
him back
back.
up.
Yeah,
He's coming back, baby.
he's coming back. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So all those I listed out all those games. What
Yeah.
would you give that year? Is that an A year for you?
C.
C. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Full disclosure, everyone. That was 1998. And why did you give that one a C?
It's I look back at where my gaming was at the time and what system I had and what I would have played. So most of those games for me, I would have maybe dipped into. Wasn't into Pokemon. I was unfortunately showing my age a bit now. It was sort of the people a few years younger than me that was into Pokemon. I'd sort of I wasn't quite in that crowd for Pokemon, but yeah. So I'd see for me because there was there were sort of hits and misses to what I'd actually have played that year. But I know for a lot of other people, right place, right time, that would have been a big year for most people. Most people would probably say that was an A year.
I'm right there with you. Like I played Crash Bandicoot. I played Spyro, Banjo-Kazooie, and I played Pokemon Yellow. Those were probably my big games that I played around this time. And of course WWF Warzone. But those were the big games I played around this time. And then later I went back and actually played the Half-Lives, the Metal Gear Solids, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, for me, I would probably say this is a B. Just to give it, and even then, I would probably say C, but I'm giving it a little bit of respect.
Yeah.
But so I'm giving that respect boost, and I would say that's a B. I'm gonna go to another year for you. All right. BioShock, Super Mario Galaxy, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Crysis, Portal, Team Fortress 2, The Witcher, Mass Effect, Halo 3, Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, God of War 2, not Ragnarok, everyone, God of War 2. All right. The Simpsons game. Why did that pop up? Oh my goodness. Why did that pop up? Okay. Rock Band, The Orange Box. Let's see. The Legend of Spyro, The Eternal Night, and Unreal Tournament 3. So how would you rank this year? Give that a letter grade.
I would give that a B.
Oh, a B. I like that. Oh, I did say Super Mario Galaxy's in here, right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making sure. All right. Yeah. A B. Is there certain games that stick out to you that brought it up to the B level, or?
Not really. I think there's more there that I definitely played at the time. There was more sort of spoilt for choice for me there. More that I would dip in and out of and definitely be purchasing. So yeah, that would definitely be a B year for me.
Yeah, that Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, man. The Halo 3, Portal, Mass Effect. I loved me some Mass Effect. Yeah,
Uncharted for me when I remember playing Drake's Fortune, absolutely fantastic.
Oh, phenomenal.
I'd never even heard of it. That was my brother-in-law got that game and said, "Oh, you got to play this game, this Uncharted game. It's like, Indiana Jones, blah, blah, blah." And then I played through it in one day. Absolutely loved that game.
I know people love BioShock. I've not beat the first BioShock game. I get halfway through and something happens to me every time.
Problem with me is I'm not very good with first-person games.
Oh, okay.
Older games I'm okay with. Like this year, I've dipped into going back and playing Halo and bits and pieces, the originals. Mm-hmm. And I'm so far I'm okay with the older first-person shooters. But if you get a modern one, I really get motion sickness with them.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah. So I don't play many, but BioShock's always a series I'd love to get into, but I don't know if I dare.
I feel you. Let's skip ahead. But so you gave that one a B, right?
B, yeah.
A B, and that was 2007. 2007.
Wow.
Yeah. So, by the way, can you believe that much time has passed?
No.
All right, 2007. All right, I want to skip ahead, or I want to go back a little bit. All right, so 2004, what many people thought was like for a long time the greatest year of video games of all time. And I'm going to list it out right here. This was Madden 2005, Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, Half-Life 2. Ooh, that was a banger. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Star Wars Battlefront, World of Warcraft, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, Halo 2, Doom 3, Def Jam Fight for New York, Need for Speed Underground 2.
Oh,
yeah. Unreal Tournament 2004. Fable. Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door, Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, Spider-Man 2, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. Let's see, Onimusha 3, and what was it? Yeah, I think we're gonna end off right there. So, what do you think of 2004? Give that a grade.
That's very close to an A for me. I'd probably say B plus.
B plus. Oh, he is a heavy grader, everyone. He's very stingy with that A.
It's got to be a good year for an A. I think there was a lot of different genres with big games, from your driving games to your third person action to your first person shooters. It was a wide spectrum of games that year, so very close to being an A for me there.
Oh man, that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is probably what was one of my first like open world adventure games to where I'm like, oh, I love this. I got lost in that for a really long time. But
I did as well.
Halo 2 was phenomenal. World of Warcraft legitimately had people like hanging out like addicts for a very long time. That had its hooks into people for a very long time.
Did you ever play that? I've never played.
I've never played World of Warcraft. I never got into PC gaming until about a couple of years ago. So I'm like, but anything that was considered PC gaming-esque, I never touched until like, I would say 2018. So everything that's been primarily PC before 2018, it's just eluded me.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I've never even sort of jumped into any of them MMOs or anything like that. I've never really got into those, but I know with World of Warcraft, people were in that deep, weren't they, for a long time? Oh,
they were in that like swimwear, man. I'm telling you. that was they like World of Warcraft had its hooks in people bad. So okay, so that's I would probably give this a B too. I think that's a strong year. So that's a strong year. So we got a lot of B's. We got a C there. Let's go skip ahead to 2017, shall we? 2017. And this one is where I think this is going to give you the shakes here. RGT. This is a RGT year. All right. So we got Cuphead, Players Unknown Battlegrounds. So PUBG. You had Super Mario Odyssey, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, What Remains of Edith Finch, Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus, Night in the Woods, Neo, Divinity Original Sin, Pyre, Injustice 2, Little Nightmares, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
Yes, you had Uncharted, The Lost Legacy. You had Dirt 4, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Forza Motorsport 7, SteamWorld Dig, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and a little game that still to this day might be the hottest game worldwide, Fortnite. That's 2017. What do you think of that year? What would you give that? Oh, Nier Automata and Hellblade 2. I just saw. Oh, and Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's in this year too.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
2017. It's surprising how long ago they were when they came out.
Yeah,
I didn't really realise Forza Motorsport 7 was that old either.
yeah, that's man.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
it
would,
really
I would go another B plus for that.
B plus. Is
Yeah.
there? Ooh, I thought for sure that was going to be your A right there.
Yeah, B. If I go on what I played and what I would like out of that list, I'd go B plus.
Okay, I can respect
That's
that.
got to be a really good year to get an A grade. That's got to be a storming year.
Okay. I thought Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Mario Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild would have got you up to that A status just alone on those.
close, but not quite there.
Did you ever play any of the indies I mentioned on this one, like Pyre, Hollow Knight, or anything like that?
I played the Edith Finch game.
Edith Finch is so good, man.
That was when that first sort of walking simulator sort of genre came out and was a bit different. And I was a bit dubious at first, but just I found the stories quite powerful in those games. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's a great game.
Yeah, like I feel like What Remains of Edith Finch, you're right, like that walking simulator was at its high around that time. But then like a little before that, I believe you had what was the one where you're walking in the sand a lot? It was phenomenal indie game, walking in the sand. Journey.
Journey, yes. Journey.
Yeah. I was like, Journey feels like the grandfather of those, you know?
Yeah, and it was they had that nice little touch at the end where you could see the list of who the people you'd played online with.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
It's so
very,
good.
very clever. Yeah, Journey's a great game. And that's sometimes it doesn't need to be a 80-hour experience. It just needs to be something different, something doing its own thing. And yeah, definitely Journey's that.
All right, here is another year for you, and we're coming up to 2023, everyone. So don't worry. This year though is Red Dead Redemption 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Celeste, Into the Breach, Monster Hunter World, Forza Horizon 4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Black Ops 4, Pillars of Eternity 2, Hitman 2, Ni no Kuni 2, Astrobot's Rescue Mission, Octopath Traveler, Moonlighter. Oh my god, I love Moonlighter. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Guacamelee 2, Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Street Fighter 5, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Soul Calibur 6, Katamari Reroll, Mega Man 11, Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, and Celeste.
I think this could be my first day, you know.
Oh,
that's a big list and a lot I would play there and a lot I did play. Yeah, so that is an A for me, definitely.
I think that top 4 games like Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, that right there is like a banger lineup.
Yeah, that's enough to keep you busy for the year there. Especially Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh my goodness.
What year was that, Sid?
That's 2018.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is that old.
Yeah,
scary.
It's hard to believe. And they haven't put out jack since then. Like Rockstar hasn't put out anything except for like that Grand Theft Auto like trilogy, the one they basically just ported over. But let's
milking the cash cow of GTA 5, haven't they?
All right, so 2018 right now is your mummy. That's the top dog, so to speak. All right. Here we go. 2023. Resident Evil 4, Diablo 4, Dead Space, Jedi Survivor, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, Hogwarts Legacy, Wulong Fallen Dynasty, Octopath Traveler 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Hi-Fi Rush, Oxenfree 2, Dead Island 2, Dredge, Remnant 2, Fire Emblem Engage, Atomic Heart. Let's see, Exoprimal. I can take or leave Exoprimal. Let's see, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Forspoken, Sea of Stars, and Let's see. That is all that's coming up. Oh, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
You must forget that.
Yeah, for sure. Just a little game like that. And Pikmin 4 as well. What do you think of this year? And that's this year so far.
Well, I mean, just those games listed there is quite unbelievable that that's just this year so far. We're only halfway through. So for me, I'm grading that an A plus.
Oh, that's an A plus. Now, does it sweeten the pot to know that upcoming, you have Starfield, Mortal Kombat 1, Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2. Those are Lies of P as well. Those Immortals of Avian, the Magic game that was from the makers of like Call of Duty studio. I think you remember seeing it for Summer Games Pass. Atlas Fallen, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, where he kind of turns into a elephant for some reason.
Yeah, that's an odd one. That.
Yeah. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and then Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Now, hearing out some of those that are upcoming, does that change? Does that A plus feel like it's going to be solidified for you?
Yeah, I think it could be an A plus by the end of the year.
Oh, in Capcom terms, I think they just call that S grade.
Yeah, definitely S grade. Yeah, I think it's just been one of them years, and it's not only that. I think we've had a good year hardware wise as well. You know,
do tell.
Well, I think you've got obviously with the PSVR 2 coming out, which came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
You've got I'm not sure if it's coming out. I think it is coming out this year, which is the Project Q, or what they're going to call it, the Q Lite. You've got that coming out. You've got the revisions of PS5 that's rumored to be coming out this year. So it seems a very jam-packed year from hardware right down to your games. Spoiled for choice at the moment.
I think we got an official, unofficial report, but I think most reports lean that we're going to get that revision for the PS4 next year, right. PS5 next year. So we're going to get that next year, and then. But you're right. I mean, we do still get a lot of hardware. A new version of the Xbox Series S, the black terabyte, is supposed to be coming this holiday season. You had the ROG Ally, which is like a new competitor for the Steam Deck made by ROG and such like that. ROG. That one came out. And let's see. The IO Neo, which is another company that's making Steam Deck handheld like competitor, puts out a new console every week at this point. I don't know how they're still in business. They keep putting out different consoles.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, so I'm like, you're right. Hardware has been really good, and then I think software wise, when you talk about like the way cloud gaming is, I don't remember a year in video games where cloud gaming has ever been this good.
No, not at all. I'm getting to the stage this year where it's one of those where there is so many games at the moment, you just don't know what to play next. After. There's nothing, we've had years in the past where you're actually struggling to find a game that you want to play. Now, we're just so spoiled this year, you're just literally trying to find something to play. You're looking through thinking, which one do I start? My backlog is scary. What games I've got to play?
RTT, I'm not trying to make this a console war argument or anything like that, but like, out of all the games that I listed out that came out this year are coming out this year, do you feel like you're leaning more so like do you feel like you're going to be doing more gaming on a particular platform? Like, do you feel like you're going to be spending most of your time on your PS5, your Xbox, or on your Switch?
Normally I tend to spend most of my time on my PS5. This year so far, I'd probably say my most played console was my Switch.
Because of Zelda.
Yeah, and Harvestella.
Harvestella, you're back. You're back on Harvestella.
So yeah, it's weird. I go through waves of what console I'm going on. I'm sure once Starfield's out, I should be on the Series X for knowing me, a few months. But yeah, I'll just go. I'll follow the trends of what games out and what I want to play, and I'll just follow the system I'm going on. Like I say, once I've finished Zelda, then I'll be back on the PS5 on Final Fantasy 16. So yeah, I'll just follow the waves of what's coming out and what system I'm going to jump on. What about you? What do you think I suppose your pretty much playing most things most of the time, I would imagine.
Yeah, I've been bouncing around from console to console, depending on whatever I get codes for at this point, review access for. But yeah, it's to be frank here, it's like this is probably the least amount of time I've spent on my PS5 since I've got it. It's not
me
because
too as well, I think. Yeah, me too.
And it's not because like the quality of everything. It's just because like full disclosure, I get a lot more codes on Xbox and PC than I do any other platform. And then like, I think I played Hogwarts Legacy on my PS5, and then everything else is either come to Game Pass or like I've gotten a review access for it, or like a lot of the third party games to where like I've just naturally gotten them for Xbox. And I don't really know. I don't have a good explanation why. It just sort of felt like that. And then like I basically have been playing my PS5 for mostly first party games, and it's just the Ratchet and Clanks of the world, the Final Fantasy 16s this year, where like that's a game I popped in for. I'm going to be playing like Marvel Spider-Man 2 day one, but then like I'm looking at the list of games we listed out, and I can't think of outside of what was it? Outside of Hogwarts Legacy and outside of Spider-Man coming up this year, like I've basically been playing a lot of these on Xbox. Dredge, one I mentioned earlier, play that on Xbox. I'm going to be playing Lies of P probably on Xbox. Oh, I did play Forspoken. I did play that. So like, I played that on PS5. But like, a lot of these AEW Fight Forever, play that on Xbox. Diablo 4 Xbox, like it's Dead Space, even though I fell off of that like 2 minutes in because I'm a chicken, evidently. Xbox as well. Like Dead Island 2 played the whole game, unfortunately, on Xbox. But yeah, I'm in this weird spot to where I'm like, maybe it's sort of flipped to where like I'm now playing my PS5 as a first party box.
Yeah, I can see that. And I suppose, especially if you're getting your review codes, you are going to play on the system that you get the codes for, and if it's PC and Xbox, that's where you're going to be hitting them up, But go back to Dredge. I've always been interested in that. You speak quite highly of Dredge, don't you?
Yeah, Dredge is a good one, man. Dredge is a good one. Okay, so Dredge is a indie fishing game. It's kind of like it's a simulator also, but it's a simulator, but it's also like a fishing adventure. So like it has like some under like it has some kind of like some weird supernatural elements to it, but like that is not the primary focus. It's not the primary focus. It's not like Dead Space, or it's not like Resident Evil, but it does have some like almost like some underlying tones of supernatural, like almost like light horror vibes. So like in the daytime you're fishing, you dredge up like materials, whether it be like additional gear, whether it be wreckage, whether it be stuff to improve your boat, or like deliveries that you can make and sell to people. But at the nighttime, like the fog is so heavy, like you can always hear something like creeping around you in the water, and or creeping underneath you in the water. Like the lighting and the tone changes, and it becomes like I need to find some form of mainland to get to, or else like I'm not going to make it to the morning time. And it's that it's in the daytime it's serene, it's calm, it's pleasant, like, and the way that night system works and the way everything turns on a dime, it's like it becomes two different games. And the way like the way that team, I think it was Black Salt Games was able to like really master that suspenseful element of like, oh snap, it's becoming like, it's 1 a.m. I'm in serious danger right now. Like, I don't necessarily know where the danger is coming from, but I know like at any given moment, my ship could be completely wrecked, and I'd have to start over at ground zero.
No way. I like that how they switch up between the day and the night. I like it when games do that, but I actually change. You've got that serene during the day and almost a bit of horror at night. That's a nice idea. That.
Yeah,
and good story to it as well, or
the story's decent. It's like the story is, you kind of uncover the story isn't like shoehorned, whereas like a lot of the games we talked about, Final Fantasy 16, Jedi Survivor, the story is prevalent. It's basically the meat and potatoes of the entire game. This one, the story is almost like, almost like Breath of the Wild, to where like the story in Breath of the Wild was like, it was there, but it was also like, to really understand some of the nuances of it, you really had to go look for lore pieces and different things like that. This is kind of very similar to where like you kind of can piece together some aspects of the story. You meet different people, and then like some big story moments unfold. But for the most part, like it's not I wouldn't call this like a super story centric game. I would call this more like a simulator that actually has a story.
Oh wow, yeah, that sounds brilliant. That's something I've really thought about playing that game, and I keep thinking, that's just obviously finding time to drop in. But I know you've always spoke highly of it, and I think I saw a review the other day, and they really rated it.
It's a tricky situation here, because like indie games might be having one of the best years ever, like as well, but like not a lot of people are playing them, and I think that's the dichotomy here of like, like there are so many good banger indie games coming out week by week by week, but like the AAA landscape has been so good. And
yeah, do you think they get a bit lost in the scene with all the
lost in the shuffle is a good way to put that. It's like I'm playing a game right now called Evil Wizard. Evil Wizard is one of my favorite games this year. It's an indie game where you basically play as the bad guy, the whole entire story, who's like, you're an evil wizard. You've been on top for a very long time, and the heroes all form an alliance and basically kick you out of your castle. And the whole thing is almost like Hades, to where like, instead of Hades, where you're trying to escape hell, you are an evil wizard who's trying to regain your castle back. So
that sounds brilliant. As soon as you say Hades, that ring a bell for me. I love Hades.
It's a roguelike game as well. Like it's a roguelike game, and you're basically going around, you're capturing, like you're reconnecting with the elements that made you as powerful as you were in the first place. And then you're also like meeting characters that have homages to other like pop lores of pop culture. Like the really cool thing about, and what makes this stand out from being a Hades clone, is like the evil wizard is basically, it's almost like if Deadpool was an evil wizard. Like this character knows that he's a character in a video game. He speaks to you, the player. And so he breaks that fourth wall. And then like he also knows pop culture references. So like when you're going through him, like, and all these characters know they also are video game characters, but they're also video game characters who know, like, who actually experience things in the real world. Like, take for instance, earlier today, like I ran up on a guy, and I immediately, most of the time we just start battling when I run up on like grunt guys. This grunt guy was like, "Hey, hold on. I have a wife, I have a family, and I have not played God of War 2018. Like, can I?" He actually says God of War for real in this game.
No way.
Yeah, so he's like, "I have not played God of War 2018. He's just like, I'm just begging you, can I go home to play that game and or see my wife and kids?" And you're like, wait, the evil wizard is narrating for you. He's basically, wait, you've never played God of War at all, or is it just the remakes? And he's just like, I've never played any of them. He's just like, well, dude, what are you doing here? Why are you working still? Like, you this is a big gap in your life. Go home and play this. And so you let this guy go, and in a Deadpool like way, this guy immediately dies right afterwards. But it's not from something you do. It is from another trap that you had set up in, like, when you were still ruling the castle. So you did kill him, but just inadvertently. So it's like it has this wit to it. It has this like writing that makes this like stronger than just a Hades clone. And then like there's other instances, like this game has rubber ducks. Like rubber ducks are the collectibles of this game.
No way.
And the guy who collects rubber ducks and sends you out to go get them is like a servant of yours. He's your Igor, so to speak. But like, he is a huge like pop culture fan. So like each one of his ducks is dressed like a pop culture reference. and it's like a Ducky version of that pop culture reference. Like there's one called like Ducky America, and it's a duck dressed up as Captain America.
Nice.
And he has a tagline underneath him like, I know that reference, and because like that's what Captain America says in the Avengers movie. And there's another one called Quacky One Kenobi, and it's just like it's a duck dressed like Obi-Wan Kenobi and such like that, and the tagline is like, hello there. And so it's like it's very on the nose comedy. It's almost like it is very much like a comedy game mixed in with a roguelike game mixed in with like Hades like gameplay. And it's like it's a game I can't put down. I'm supposed to be finishing Final Fantasy 16 this weekend, and instead I'm playing Evil Wizard. And it's like it is a crazy thing. I'm so impressed with indies this year, to bring this back to the topic we had just a second ago. I'm so impressed with indies this year, and it just hurts my heart that it's like it's not their year. It's just not an indie year.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes where when you have so many AAA games coming out, that's where they get a bit lost, the indies. I mean, you being the indie guy, do you think this is one of the best years for indies?
Oh, yeah. Like, I think this is one of the best years of indies in certain genres. Let me put it like that. Like simulators like George kind of enjoys, where it's like management type of games. Phenomenal year for that. We're getting so many of those. Roguelites. There's been a lot of roguelites, not so much platformers, but there's a lot of roguelites. JRPGs have arrived, man. There are so many cool JRPGs. Sea of Stars is a game that kept coming, that I've kept saying on this podcast. It's a game that comes out August 29th. And have you seen this game?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen no footage or anything of it yet, or any trailers.
Okay, so it's a retro-inspired turn-based RPG that's coming out day one on Game Pass. It's also coming out on PC. But anyways, it looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It kind of takes like some of the elements of think about like a Hollow Knight kind of like art style, except everything's bright, everything's colorful. Instead of like Hollow Knight is like it's like dark with neon accents. I would describe it. This is like that same kind of, it's like Hollow Knight's art style, but mixed in with Octopath Traveler's art style. My goodness.
Although I haven't played Octopath, I did dabble with Live Alive, which is that similar sort of engine.
Yeah.
But I do love that sort of 2.5D pixel art style. I think the graphics look amazing. And they're similar to that, is it?
Yeah, it's very much that 2.5 art style. Phenomenal. It looks like it's going to be a game that is going to be a must play for people who like JRPGs. And then you have a game that called Arcadian Atlas. This is like a studio deep in the heart of Texas. They're in the same state as me right now.
Oh, wow.
They just put out a game, a JRPG, and it is very much like Chrono Trigger is like Chrono Trigger, but 2023. So like a lot of the things, it has that Chrono Trigger kind of like homage to it. It has like Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy like 1 and 2 kind of like gameplay, but like modernized in a way to where like you don't feel that grind. Like you don't feel that grind. The story is prevalent. That game is absolutely amazing right now. And then you have like Arcadian Atlas was one that was amazing. You also have like several different games in the cozy department that's like been popping up that's been absolutely phenomenal. It's like it's a cool year for indie games. It's just like they can't breathe right now. Like they can't get a foothold. Arterium Shift is another one that's like it is another JRPG, very turn-based, but it has, and here's the cool thing, it is that 2.5D, 2D art style as well, but then it mixes in like some of the boss fights are like those like PlayStation 2 style boss fights, to where like they like, and the boss has like PlayStation 2 graphics into it, to where like it is very much like that old school 3D design that you saw in games like Final Fantasy 7. You remember like how the robot looked in like when you were playing Final Fantasy 7? It like a lot of the monsters look kind of like that robot, the way that they're designed, but the rest of the game looks like a 2D or 2.5D game. as well.
Oh,
So it
wow.
mixes in those kind of like genres really well, and it's fun, man. It's just the JRPG landscape is healthy right now.
I reckon when we get later in the year, towards the end of the year, we'll have to do a indie special with you. Said go through your best indies of the year, because that sounds like it's been an absolute banger for indies this year.
Oh man, yeah. There's so many. Like we're pressed for time, but there's so many that like I can just go on and on about, and yeah, I've been keeping a spreadsheet, right? Like I keep a spreadsheet of the games I review throughout the year, and so I don't have to go through my site and go through like each and every game. So I keep a spreadsheet, and then like I keep like a review score of what overall like score I gave that game. And there's so many 8s and 9s, so many 8s and 9s. Like
Really?
and that's what makes it hard. It's like what is the nuances of like, how do I make a top 10 list when 10 games got 9s right now? Like how do you do that? That's also like this year's phenomenal. It's just people are sleeping on so many good indies, and there's some like major ones still to come.
So going back to 2023 being,
yeah, for sure.
We're giving it an A+. I've given it, I reckon it'll be an A++ by the end of the year. What's so far then, as we're halfway through the year, what has been your favourite release this year so far?
Let's call it like it is. What's my game of the year so far? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
The game of the year, Sebastian's game of the year so far. That is, man, you're putting me on the spot here. That's a hard question, but I got to say, Sebastian's game of the year so far. Oh, it's tricky, man, because like a part of me is saying Jedi Survivor because I really enjoyed that.
If you'd go with that, yeah.
But yeah, it's either Jedi Survivor or the game like Jedi Survivor or yeah, I'm gonna say Jedi Survivor, Final Fantasy 16, or Evil Wizard. The game I told you about where you're playing as a Deadpool wizard. Those three right now. Evil Wizard right now is a chokehold on me, man. Like we're talking about it right now, and I'm like, I can't wait to go find some more ducks. I can't wait.
Yeah, and when the game's got you, when you're thinking about playing it again, once you described it, and you're like, yep, I want to get back into that world again.
Yeah, for sure.
That's got us hooked in you. I think obviously mine so far has got to be Zelda. So far is mine.
Do you think the other two compatriots on the UCP podcast, do you feel like they're also going to, what would you say? Like, think about a Bobby game. What is a Bobby game of the year this year?
Well, I know he's Diablo 4 is right into. He'll put hours and hours and hours in that game. Being a bit of a platinum king, he'll platinum that out. But I'm trying to think. He really, really did love Hogwarts. So I wonder if Hogwarts would be his game of the year so far.
That is so strange how we're all different personalities. Because I'm thinking the rest of us soured on Hogwarts after 10 hours.
Yeah. George. Don't know. He's a big MLB man.
That's MLB. Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, MLB The Show 2023. You might got it.
Yeah, I reckon that might be that for him. But then going to the rest of the year, what's your most anticipated game coming up this year?
With a bullet, Spider-Man. Yeah, like with a bullet, man.
I watched that new trailer this week, and I was just like, oh wow,
mouth-wateringly good, man. It's amazing how good that trailer looks.
Yeah, it does look phenomenal. Story looks good. I just want to be back in that world again. It looks absolutely fantastic. And and how good does the Spider-Man 2 PS5 look as well?
I'm mixed on it, man. I'm mixed.
Really?
I am. I like that they did something. I like custom faceplates. I think all PlayStation first party releases should have faceplates. It doesn't take a whole lot. Like Ratchet and Clank should have gotten one. Like Demon Souls should have gotten one. Horizon, can you imagine what Horizons would have looked like?
Just Aloy on there looking out into the distance. That'd have been brilliant.
Yeah. I'm like, or maybe having a couple of the mech dinosaurs like right behind her. Oh man, like it feels like a missed opportunity. And even then, like they could have had like like if they want to go like multi-tone, like Spider-Man and Venom are doing, they could have had like blue in the sky and then like or white sky and then like blue where she's standing or like ocean behind her. There's so many cool things they could have did with that. Or maybe they like I saw one guy where he did a mock one where every PlayStation first party game had like a silhouette. It's just like the character, but it's the character silhouette on the faceplate.
Oh,
even
nice.
that would have been better than just not having them at all. But going back to Spider-Man, I like the faceplate. I don't love it. It's something about the black and red combination with the logo that is like, I don't necessarily know if it fits my aesthetic, but I like that it exists.
Yeah, it's a nice touch, and they've done a controller as well, haven't they? And
I like the controller more than I like the actual faceplate.
Yeah, I'm tempted to get the controller actually. So I keep humming and hawing. I did like the camo controller. I keep humming and hawing about getting a new controller, but I think I might get the Spider-Man 2 one. I think
you were the person who bought the camo controller.
I haven't actually. I've still only got my original 2 standard controllers, but I did really consider getting the camo one. I like the camo.
The camo is for you. I've racked my brain around this, and I feel like I owe you an apology, RGT, because I ranted and raved. I was like, who in the blue moon is going to buy that camo controller? And lo and behold, you are, good sir, are the person who's like interested in that camo controller. Like, I feel like the people who like the camo controller is also the people who go to like Arby's. Because the rest of us are wondering who you are. Who are you people?
Well, I think over there in the US for you guys, I think camo is seen as quite, people's not interested in it anymore. It's quite old school. People don't like it. I think over in the UK, still seen as quite cool. Camo.
Y'all are still rocking camo over there?
Yeah.
Like all the color camo and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I love it, and especially that sort of. Would you say that's an urban camo? I suppose the grey and the blacks. I suppose.
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah, I think if I bought custom plates now for my PS5 of what's on offer, forget about the Spider-Man 2 ones, but just what's on offer, I'd probably go with the camo.
You are kidding me.
No, not at all. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I feel like I can't see your face right now, but I feel like you're smiling because you're joking with me right
now. No, seriously. Yeah, I really do like the camo. But
I respect that.
I've seen quite a few YouTube videos of guys reviewing the plates and bits and pieces, and if they're American guys, they hate the camo. Yeah,
well, camo's not big over here anymore.
No.
It's like ever since Duck Dynasty fell off in the end of the 2008 kind of era, like camo just fell off the face of the planet. So it was a surprise to me when PlayStation put out a camo controller. But then I understand the marketing now. It's the people in the UK is the people that they're going after.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, strange, isn't it? But I suppose that's different areas of the world. I suppose that's what's in different places. I suppose it's probably different in Japan. What's more popular there as well, I suppose. But
yeah, here we love those black face plates. Like we like the look of the black
done his as well. Bobby's is done his with the black ones.
Same. It's so Spider-Man is my most anticipated game, but very close to it is Starfield. I'm salivating for Starfield right now.
I'm intrigued. Now I've got my Series X. That's going to be a day one purchase for me, Starfield.
You're going to buy it?
Yeah.
You're not going to just Game Pass it?
Depends. I mean, by the time that come out, I might, because I haven't got Games Pass yet. So I might dip into Games Pass before that comes out. I mean, I'd like, I'm all about the physical media. If I can buy a physical copy of that, then I will. But I think I'm going to have to. I think, like I say, by then I will probably be on Games Pass. So I might play it on there. But yeah, Starfield, I am intrigued by.
Let me give you a pitch, in, and you're a grown man. You can live your life the way you want to. But here's my suggestion to you: get Game Pass. Don't buy Starfield, but buy the Starfield controller.
Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it?
That Starfield controller looks sick. I like that.
Does look very good. I like that. That's one thing Xbox has always done really well with their themed controllers, and your customization has been fantastic on those. And yeah, the Starfield one does look good. I do need a second controller, so I'm very tempted with that.
Yeah. I think that's going to be that's the two games that I'm probably going to play like extensively this fall.
Yeah, me too.
RGT, I gotta ask you a question for basically, like winding down the show and such like that. I gotta ask you a couple of questions before we go. My first question is: we have a special guest in the building with us today. Bubba, ask him what is his most anticipated game for the rest of this year.
All right, let me just spin around a moment. Bubba,
hello.
What is your most anticipated game coming up this year?
It's got to be Forza Motorsport.
Forza Motorsport is what he said.
Forza Motorsport, yeah, that's a good call, actually.
Yeah.
I forgot about Forza coming out because that does look fantastic. And graphically, it looks stunning. Yeah, that's another one that'll be. All right, I'm getting Games Pass.
I'm telling you, just get Games Pass. Mrs. RGT is going to appreciate Games Pass because you're not just dropping $70 every month.
That's a good point. Yeah, you've just sold it to her now.
I'm telling you.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Forza Motorsport. Yeah, that does look good. Yeah, I'm intrigued by that as well. So it's a good end of the year coming up as well with games, isn't it?
Yeah, I have an announcement to make. I think I'm retiring my Switch. I think I'm officially retiring the Switch. I think I'm not playing any more Switch games until the Switch Pro or the Switch 2. Because I played a little game that's came out recently. This is story time with Sebastian, everybody. I'll make this quick. I played a little game that's come out this recently called Pikmin 4.
Mm-hmm.
Pikmin has PS2 like load screens on it, to where like when you go from one area to another, it's broken up by a load screen. Don't get me wrong. It's not like Skyrim load screens to where like you were waiting 2 minutes back in the day on the 360 or anything like that. But it is still like 60 seconds. It's enough time to where I can get out my phone and also scroll social media a little bit. Like, and then like, okay, so like, have you played Pikmin 4?
No.
Do you have any interest in this game?
No.
Okay.
No.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's never a series that's really appealed to me that much, to be honest.
Okay, I completely respect that. So you're going around on Pikmin, you do your little daily assignments, you pick up your Duracell batteries or your game or your GameCube or your Game Boy and such like that, and you use it, you bring it back to your ship and such like that for parts. The day ends, and when the day ends, you go up to like the hub screen and such like that. There's like a load screen in between you and the hub world. Then you talk to somebody, load screen. You go back down and start your day over. Like start the next day, load screen in between that. This does not feel, like structurally speaking, this feels like a Wii U game. It was the final breaking point for me on the Switch, if I'm being honest.
And I think also you've got your Steam Deck now as well. It must be quite hard going from Steam Deck back to Switch.
Oh, it is. It feels like you're going from like like the PlayStation 5 back to the PS3.
Wow.
It feels like that much of a difference because like, like I could see 60 frames per second easily on almost any game I play on Steam Deck. I can't see that on every game I'm playing on the Switch. I can also, first of all, the A/B buttons are where they should be, where the good Lord intended them to be. The Xbox orientation, like they're there. And then like to make it even further, like the games run better, the games look better, they perform better. Sure, the Steam Deck doesn't have an OLED screen if you're playing on the Switch OLED, so that's 1 point for the Switch. But outside of that, besides the Nintendo original games, I can't think of, and even some of them if you're a naughty boy. I can't think of any game that runs worse on the Steam Deck than it does on Switch.
Yes, the system is, it's nice to have the refresh of the screen with the OLED, and I'm lucky enough to have an OLED, but the actual hardware itself is getting dated now. It's time.
I can't think of anything like that Super Mario Wonder game. Like, I'm just thinking about like skipping that all entirely because it's a Switch game, and I own a Switch.
Yeah, I mean, going on to that new Super Mario game, what do you think of the art style on that? I do not like that at all.
Isn't that very much like Super Mario Brothers U kind of art style, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, it looks, to me, it almost looks like a mobile sort of art style. Looks like a mobile game to me. I don't like that.
Yeah, I can see that. It's very trippy too.
Yeah, I'm not down with that at all, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think this game is going to review well because it also is a Mario game. It gets that Mario bump, but I don't see this like changing the way platformers are looked at, and I don't feel like, to me, like this feels like the swan song of the Switch, to where like they're putting out a lot of like, I'm trying to be a little bit generous here. I feel like they're putting out their C lineup, like like as like, hey, besides Zelda, like universally, I'm on the outlier, I'm on the outside looking in. Zelda's a good game, but like it started with Zelda on the Switch, it ends with Zelda on the Switch, and then it started with a Mario later on that year, it ends with a Mario later on that year. It feels poetic in a way,
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think they'll drop an announcement soon on the new system, I think, and I think that's brewing. And like I said before, it is time for a refresh now.
Yeah. But I digress. We do RGT. I know, like, you are everywhere all at once. So, like, but before we go, where are you going to be playing this week?
I know I've said this a few weeks on a trot. I must try and get Zelda finished, and I want to get on Final Fantasy 16 this week. So, really looking forward to getting into that world and playing that game. I played that demo, really up my street. So yeah, looking forward to getting into that. Carry on dabbling with a bit more FIFA, I expect. Got some more games I'm hoping the hidden gems turning up. Original Xbox and Wii and bits and pieces. I'm going to play through them, get some reviews written up for the show. So yeah, be dabbling in various different bits. What about you, Seb? What are you hoping to play this week?
Ooh, Evil Wizard is like, I'm going to be playing that one, and then I'm going to be playing a little bit more of the indie levels. Like, I'll be playing Evil Wizard. I'll also be playing, I think I'm gonna give up on Pikmin 4 if I'm being honest. Like, the load, like the momentum is killed every time you go in and out of the load screen. Like,
it can be a game breaker that sometimes.
It is a backbreaker right now. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give up on that. But I think there is a game called Vimba. It is about an Indian family who migrate to Toronto, around Canada, and it's like, it is one of those. It's a game where like the Indian family is talking about like the recipes and how they are, like how the recipes were passed from generation to generation. But like when they migrated here, some of that recipe book looked like it was lost. So it's almost like them trying to remember that like feeling of like their recipes also. But like, just like they're trying to make a new life for themselves in Toronto, they are trying to make like a new kind of like an old is new kind of like recipes for them going forward with their food. So it's like,
sounds interesting.
Oh, it's a super sweet kind of game. I'll be playing that, and I think I'm gonna try Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I think I'm going to actually give that a decent shot. So I think those are like Vimba and Baldur's Gate 3 are going to be my mummy, because both of them are coming out this week. They're coming out on the July 31st and then August 3rd for everyone listening.
So even more games to make this year even better.
Yeah, for sure. But before we go, RGT, where can the good people find you?
You can find me as Retro Gamer Thomas on Instagram. You can find me also on the Unofficial Controller Discord. So if if you listen to the show, you hear all the guys we talk about. We're in there, I'm in there, Bobby's in there, George is in there, Boba, who's sitting behind me, he's in there. He is the Discord manager as well. So yeah, come and jump in, come and say hi. We've got a bit of everything from everyone in there. Yeah, it's great fun.
All right, and everyone, you can find me at Sebastian PNR on pretty much all your favorite platforms, all your social platforms, especially Twitter, if it's still around by the time this episode airs, because it's a crazy landscape over there. But
yeah,
I digress. I got one message before we go. Oh, the two messages before we go. My first message is, and this is going out to all you people: Mikey Wrestling, Monkery, Roast Space Monk, Fat Zangief, Baba Binksta, all you guys, you think I'm down right now. You think you got me by the throat. You think you're going to beat Triple S in this fantasy lineup right now. Well, I'll tell you this, Roasted Space Monk. You're projected right now is first place. You're not going to beat me, but you're projected right now to be in first place. Mikey Wrestling, you're actually in first place right now with 103 points. You're projected to be in third. You're not going to beat the king. You're not going to do it. Sebastian right now I'm actually in fourth place right now, but I'm projected to be in second place, but I got a couple of moves up my sleeve. Some of these, I haven't filled 3 spots in my lineup, and these 3 spots are going to be a doozy for you. They're going to be what gets me not only in first place, but with a comfortable lead in first place. And then when I become the king, when I establish who I am, and I look down upon you, and I just see the bodies that I've just strewn across as I make my way to my throne, I'm going to say, thank you. Thank you for giving me the challenge that I so richly deserved. But I digress. If you come for the king, you best not miss.
Triple S trash talk.
Triple S is trash talking right now. So all you guys, bring your A game. Adjust your lineup. I mean this from the bottom of me heart. Adjust your lineup, because what you got right now just ain't good enough. It just ain't good enough. So everyone, be on the lookout for right now. I'm in fourth place. This is about to be the comeback session of the season, because as my boy Ricky Bobby once said, if you're not first, you're last. And I refuse to be last. So everyone, get ready for a wild ride, because Triple S is coming and hell's coming with them. And now, so I digress. And outside of that, if you like my antics on the show, check out the Single Player Experience podcast, the premier podcast for single player gamers to find out good single player games to play. I digress, though. It's been really fun doing this show with you today.
Yeah,
man, thank you.
No, thank you. I enjoyed that. It's nice to look, when you actually look at this year and you start to realize how good this year's been for games and how good it's going to get as well.
All right, everyone. So that's it for this episode of the Unofficial Controller Podcast. And what's our tagline, RGT? Remember?
There's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. That's what you do of it that counts.
You darn tootin'. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to leave a like and review. It really helps the podcast grow. In the meanwhile, I've been Sebastian, aka Triple S. That's been RGT, and we're out. Bye, everyone.
See you later, guys.